making headlines this hour. President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu and Qatar's newly appointed ambassador Hamad Mohammad Abdullah Al Sanad Al Dosari reaffirms their commitment to strengthening economic cooperation, tourism, investment, and infrastructure development. Minister of Homeland Security, Labour and Technology Ali Ihsan warns that the nation's ambitious digital transformation will falter unless every citizen is equipped to use new technologies safely and confidently. The Privatization and Corporatization Board (PCB) instructs state-owned companies and their subsidiaries to standardize overtime payment policies.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to PSM News in English. With me, Fatma Zaina Rifat. And now for the news in detail. President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu and Qatar's newly appointed ambassador Hamad Mohammad Abdullah Al Sanad Al Dosari reaffirms their commitment to strengthening economic cooperation, tourism, investment and infrastructure development during the envoy's presentation of credentials. Ambassador of the State of Qatar to the Maldives, Hamad Mohammad Abdullah Al Sanad Al Dosari, presented his letter of credence to President Muizzu at a ceremony held at the President's office. The ambassador was escorted to the ceremony in the traditional Haikoro cultural procession, accompanied by the Maldives National Defense Force MNDF drum and trumpet band. President Muizzu formally accepted the letter of credence and welcomed Al Dosari as Qatar's ambassador to the Maldives. During their meeting, the President and the ambassador discussed a range of areas of mutual interest, including economic and tourism cooperation, infrastructure development, financial support, and investment. President Muizzu also referred to his recent visit to Qatar, highlighting the close and long-standing ties between the two countries. Both sides reaffirmed their commitment to further strengthening bilateral relations and expanding cooperation. The Maldives and Qatar established diplomatic relations on 26 May 1984. President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu receives the letters of credence from the newly appointed High Commissioners of the Republic of Namibia and the Republic of Fiji, with discussions focusing on expanding bilateral cooperation in key sectors including tourism, sustainable development, trade, fisheries, climate action, and regional collaboration. High Commissioner of the Republic of Namibia to the Maldives, LXL Tukuhupvile, presented his letter of credence to President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu at a ceremony held at the President's office. The High Commissioner was escorted in a traditional Haikoro cultural procession, accompanied by the Maldives National Defense Force MNDF drum and trumpet band. President Muizzu accepted the letter of credence and formally welcomed LXL Tukuhupvile as the High Commissioner of the Republic of Namibia to the Maldives. Following the ceremony, the President and the High Commissioner discussed areas of mutual interest, including cooperation in tourism, trade and investment, fisheries, health sector development, and the exchange of expertise between the two countries. Both sides reaffirmed their commitment to further strengthening diplomatic relations. Diplomatic relations between the Maldives and Namibia were established on 26 July 1990. High Commissioner of the Republic of Fiji to the Maldives, Jagannath Samy, also presented his letter of credence to President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu at a ceremony held at the President's office. The High Commissioner was likewise escorted in a traditional Haikoro cultural procession, accompanied by the Maldives National Defense Force MNDF drum and trumpet band. President Muizzu accepted the letter of credence and formally welcomed Jagannath Samy as the High Commissioner of the Republic of Fiji to the Maldives. During the subsequent meeting, the President and the High Commissioner reaffirmed their long-standing bilateral relationship between the Maldives and Fiji. Their discussions focused on enhancing cooperation in tourism, climate action, and sustainable development, while expressing a shared commitment to strengthening collaboration in regional and international forums for their mutual benefit. Diplomatic relations between the Maldives and Fiji were established on 15 March 1988. 5 non-resident ambassadors presents their letters of credence to President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu, with discussions focusing on expanding bilateral cooperation in areas including the blue economy, climate change, health, education, tourism, trade, youth development, sports, and regional peace and security. as the Maldives reaffirmed its commitment to strengthening ties with the Dominican Republic, Cuba, Kosovo, Slovenia, and Somalia. Each ambassador presented their credentials during separate ceremonies held at the president's office. In keeping with tradition, they were escorted in a high Koru cultural procession accompanied by the Maldives National Defense Force (MNDF) a drum and trumpet band, before being formally received by the president. Non-resident ambassador of the Dominican Republic to the Maldives, Francis Manuel Compres Hernandez, presented his letter of credence to President Muizu. Following the ceremony, the president and the ambassador discussed areas of mutual interest, particularly environmental protection and the blue economy, highlighting the shared priorities of both countries as small island developing states, SIDS. Both sides reaffirmed their commitment to strengthening diplomatic relations. Diplomatic relations between the Maldives and Dominican Republic were established on 17 March 2010. Non-resident ambassador of the Republic of Cuba to the Maldives, Patricia Lazara Pego Guerra, also presented her letter of credence to the president. The president and the ambassador discussed cooperation in health sector development, higher education, training programs, and sports, with particular emphasis on volleyball. The ambassador also expressed appreciation for the Maldives' continued support at the United Nations, while both sides pledged to further deepen bilateral relations. Diplomatic relations between the Maldives and Cuba were established on 29 January 1977. Non-resident ambassador of the Republic of Kosovo to the Maldives, Lulzim Plana, presented his letter of credence during a separate ceremony. The president expressed appreciation for scholarships provided by the government of Kosovo, while both sides discussed expanding cooperation in education, youth development, tourism, trade, and other areas of mutual interest. They also reaffirmed their commitment to translating bilateral cooperation into tangible and sustainable outcomes. Non-resident ambassador to the Republic of Slovenia to the Maldives, Tomasz Mencin, presented his letter of credence to the president. During their meeting, the president and the ambassador discussed cooperation in tourism, climate change, environmental protection, and sustainable development. Both sides reaffirmed their commitment to further strengthening bilateral relations. Diplomatic relations between the Maldives and Slovenia were established on 4 March 1996. Non-resident ambassador of the Federal Republic of Somalia to the Maldives, Dr. Abdullah Muhammad Odawa, also presented his letter of credence to President Muizu. The president and the ambassador discussed expanding bilateral cooperation in the areas of mutual interest and exchanged views on promoting peace and security in the Indian Ocean. Both sides reaffirmed their commitment to strengthening ties between the two countries. Diplomatic relations between the Maldives and Somalia were established on 10 March 1988. The Privatization and Corporatization Board, PCB, instructs state-owned companies and their subsidiaries to standardize overtime payment policies. According to PCB, companies must revise their current policies so that overtime is only paid to employees who work more than 48 hours per week. The move aims to improve management of state-owned companies, strengthen financial systems, and create uniform overtime policies across companies. PCB said companies with existing overtime caps must compare their current rules with the new 48-hour threshold and adopt the option that is most financially efficient. PCB said the changes will help companies plan workloads better, distribute work more equally among employees, and reduce unnecessary costs. Companies are asked to complete the required changes by 30th July, with the revised rules taking effect from 1st August. PCB has also previously directed state-owned companies to reduce staff by 33% within 3 months as part of efforts to improve efficiency and profitability. The Minister of Homeland Security, Labor and Technology, Ali Ihsan, warns the nation's ambitious digital transformation will falter unless every citizen is equipped to use new technologies safely and confidently. Speaking at the launch of the Digital for All campaign, a cornerstone of the Maldives 2.0 roadmap, Minister Ihsan stressed the infrastructure alone cannot drive progress. The Digital for All initiative aims to build a skilled, responsible, and productive populace that is digitally aware, enabling Maldivians to reap economic and social benefits from national digital systems and infrastructure investments. Minister Ihsan linked the effort to the National Basic Education Program launched in the 1970s that lifted literacy rates, emphasizing that today's focus must be on digital behavior, practical skills, and safe usage of emerging tools such as artificial intelligence. He noted that virtually every sector, commerce, governance, health, and education has been reshaped by technology, with businesses increasingly becoming digital and state services migrating online. For the Maldives to grow, the minister insisted the country must invest not only in laying fiber and towers but also in creating digitally capable citizens who can turn those connections into opportunities. The minister announced that the Digital for All will evolve into a major national level capacity building initiative reaching all atolls over the next 3 years. He called for broad participation, state institutions, private enterprises, local councils, women's development committees, NGOs, leading organizations, and foreign aid partners to ensure the campaign is inclusive and leaves no one behind. The Minister of Education, Higher Education and Skills Development, Dr. Ismail Shafiu, announces the rollout of a 3-year Digital for All initiative aimed at equipping every Maldivian citizen with the digital knowledge and skills required to transform the archipelago into a developed nation by 2040. Speaking at the campaign's launch, the minister emphasized that effort aligns with President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu's vision of Maldives 2.0, a strategy to turn the country into a fully digital, high-income society. The initiative will partner universities, colleges, local councils, the Maldives Qualifications Authority (MQA), MindCo, and Maldives National Skill Development Authority and the National Institute of Education to create a nationwide digital literacy network. He added, by integrating digital systems into all educational and vocational institutions, the government hopes to remove barriers for people with physical or mental disabilities and expand opportunities for remote work and inclusive societal participation. Minister Ismail Shafiu reiterated that building a digitally competent generation is a national responsibility that can only be achieved through a coordinated action across ministries, agencies, and private partners. Application of a formulated treatment commences to resolve the spiraling whitefly infestation threatening coconut palms across the country, following widespread complaints regarding significant damage across various regions. To combat the crisis, successful trials occurred in Hanimado Agriculture Center using Yejiachang pesticide packets, a treatment originally introduced to manage the coconut hispine beetle under the Chinese government-assisted Maldives Coconut Tree Pest Control Assistance Project. Building on these results, the Ministry of Fisheries, Agriculture and Ocean Resources stated work has begun to transfer the pesticide to all local councils proportionally based on palm tree counts. The ministry noted the pesticide was first handed over to Bara in Ha Alifo Atoll, where an application program has been conducted. Ministry officials observed northern districts receive supplies from Hanimado, while others obtained them directly from Male. Kaladu in Lamo Atoll, Fiori in Gafudalu Atoll, and Midu in Addu City requested solutions, prompting handover letters. Plant and palm diseases remain a long-standing concern with ongoing government work. A delegation from the Environment and Plant Protection Research Institute, a branch of the Chinese Academy of Tropical Agricultural Sciences, is stationed to find solutions. A national laboratory was established to eliminate research and infrastructure obstacles, strengthening biosecurity. The ministry concluded bilateral cooperation agreements have been established to control palm diseases, hispid beetles, and general plant diseases. Aminat Zinia, the managing director of Asanda Company Limited, announces the largest portion of the Asanda budget is consistently expended on pharmacy bills. National health insurance allocations experienced steady year-over-year expansion. Zinia noted on public service media's Raja Miyado that over 60% of scheme resources went to pharmacies for medication provision last year. Beyond pharmaceuticals, expenditures stem from private clinics, domestic hospitals, and international facilities. To facilitate overseas treatment, Asanda established agreements with 57 foreign medical institutions across India, Sri Lanka, Thailand, and the United Arab Emirates. Most partner hospitals are in India, Xenia elaborated, observing agreements are finalized after vetting confirms state-of-the-art care and multi-specialty services. The state appropriated $131 million for Asanda schemes this fiscal year. Expenditures reached $76.52 million by 16th July, a 10.2% increase from $69.39 million last year. Direct spending accelerated, contrasted by a medical welfare contraction to $8.29 million by 16th July, marking a 30.9% decline from $12.02 million. The government established $26.52 million budget for these services. The land reclamation project in Nafaru, Laviani Atoll, is complete. Work on the project began in October last year during President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu's visit to Nafaru. The project was awarded to the Maldives Transport and Contracting Company (MTCC). Under the project, 45 hectares of land have been reclaimed. Coastal protection works under the project are currently 24% complete, with revetment construction now underway. To protect the reclaimed land, the project includes the construction of 1,813 meters of rock revetment, an 803-meter offshore rock breakwater, and 474 meters of rock groins. Nafaru is home to a population of more than 5,000 people and is being developed by the government as an urban center. The land reclamation project is intended to address growing housing demand caused by the island's increasing population, while creating additional economic and social opportunities. At the time the 45-hectare reclamation project was awarded, work was already in progress to reclaim a further 21 hectares. In line with the government's urban center development program, it has also decided to reclaim additional land to support Nafaru's transformation into a regional-level urban hub. Nafaru has faced shortages for many years. In 2004, 16 hectares of land were reclaimed to ease the shortage, with the reclaimed area subsequently developed primarily for housing. Today, Nafaru has a population of more than 5,800 people and a total land area of 55 hectares. Tesla is expected to report its first quarterly cash burn in over 2 years, as its spending on AI and robotics soars, intensifying investor scrutiny over when those bets will pay off. CEO Elon Musk has pivoted the electric vehicle makers' focus from manufacturing cars to building so-called physical AI businesses such as self-driving taxis and humanoid robots. Much of Tesla's valuation hangs on that promise. However, investors are growing increasingly uneasy as spending on AI infrastructure, including data centers and manufacturing capacity, is projected to climb up to $25 billion this year, outstripping quarterly cash generated by Tesla's core automotive and energy operations. Investors have been betting that Tesla's autonomous driving technology and robotics ambitions could eventually unlock new high-margin revenue streams. But progress has been slower than many analysts expected, and Musk has missed some self-imposed deadlines. Soon after launching its robotaxi service in Austin, Texas in April last year, Musk predicted Tesla Robotics would serve half the US population by the end of 2025. In January, Tesla said the service would expand to 7 new cities in the first half of 2026, but its robotaxi network remains confined to Austin, Dallas, Houston in Texas, and Miami in Florida.
I think if you say 5 years from now, or certainly 10 years from now, my guess is, if you say like 10 years from now, probably 90% of all distance driven will be driven by the AI in a self-driving car. So overwhelmingly, it'll be quite a niche thing in 10 years to actually be driving your own car. The car will drive you. I think there will also be humanoid robots that are pretty much everywhere.
Tesla delivered a record number of vehicles for the April to June period, far exceeding market estimates, as higher oil prices help drive sales of EVs, especially in Europe. Analysts expect Tesla to deliver 1.7 million vehicles in 2026, up 3.9% from last year, which would snap a two-year skid of declining annual deliveries. Barclays analysts said investors remain focused on Tesla's AI ambitions, but a stronger automotive business would help generate the cash needed to finance those investments. For the second quarter, however, the vehicle sales rebound may not be enough to offset heavy spending. According to LSEG data, Tesla is expected to report negative free cash flow of $3.3 billion. Analysts expect Tesla's second quarter profit to come in at 50 cents per share, compared with 40 cents per share in the same period a year earlier. However, Deutsche Bank analysts expect the elimination of upfront full self-driving software purchases earlier this year and low interest rates financing in May to hit profitability. Wall Street expects automotive gross margin excluding regulatory credits of 18.1% in the second quarter, lower than 19.2% in the prior three-month period according to Visible Alpha data. New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani calls on the U.S. government to arrest Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The Hague-based International Criminal Court issued an arrest warrant for Netanyahu in 2024 over alleged war crimes committed during the Gaza war. Israel rejects the court's jurisdiction and denies committing war crimes. Mamdani and his administration does not have the legal authority to enforce the warrant or arrest Netanyahu.
As I've said, I agree with the ICC that Benjamin Netanyahu should be arrested and tried for his crimes, as I do for anyone else charged by the ICC. My administration has reviewed every avenue available under applicable law to determine whether New York City could execute the International Criminal Court's arrest warrant if Benjamin Netanyahu came here. It is clear that we do not have the independent legal authority to enforce this warrant. The federal government, however, does, and I call on them to join the ICC and execute this warrant. And I want to be equally clear. Benjamin Netanyahu is not welcome in New York City, nor is any other war criminal at large.
President Donald Trump said Netanyahu, who traditionally travels to New York every September for the annual gathering of world leaders at the United Nations General Assembly, will not be arrested when he visits the U.S. Chelsea signs England international Morgan Rogers from Aston Villa on a contract until 2033. With British media reporting the deal was worth 117 million British pounds, making him the most expensive British player. Neither club disclosed financial details, but Sky Sports reported the package could surpass the reported fee of up to 160 million British pounds. Manchester City paid Nottingham Forest for midfielder Elliot Anderson earlier this month. Chelsea's previous record signing was Ecuador midfielder Moses Caicedo, who joined from Brighton and Hove Albion for 115 million British pounds in 2023. Rogers said in a club statement that he is excited and that he views Chelsea as the biggest club in London and he always admired them as a kid. Visitors flocks to the colorful flower fields of Hydrangea Cafe in Thailand's Khao Khaos district, where blooming hillside gardens, a giant rainbow slide, and a colorful castle have become a popular attraction for tourists and photographers. Footage shows drone views of vibrant flower fields stretching across the hillside, with a giant rainbow slide winding through the gardens. Visitors pose for photographs among the blooms, while decorative hot air balloons, a colorful castle, and a rainbow-painted bridge provide additional photo spots. Visitor Jim Jum says the location offers both beautiful scenery and fun activities, recommending it as a place for friends and families to visit. The cafe in Thailand's northern Phetchabun province is known for its seasonal display of hydrangeas, marguerites, and celosia. Admission costs 60 Thai baht, with each ride on the rainbow slide costing an additional 50 Thai baht. And that's all the news we have today. Thank you for watching PSM News.